Jay Massey is a full-time real estate investor. He's an entrepreneur.
He also teaches people how to find deals, raise capital for real estate investments.
Meeting Jay Massey in person, you'd think he's just a regular guy. He's got jeans and a t-shirt on and a pair of sneakers. But he's built up a multi-million-dollar empire.
Jay Massey is a full
All right. Okay. So, still having technical. There we go. Still having some technical difficulties, y'all. Nonetheless, we just working around it. Either way it goes, still wanted to make sure that we made the time to be together today and answer your questions. So, for those of you who are watching right now live, yes, you live. If you're watching, go ahead and pop your questions in the chat, because I want to make sure that we do get to those, because that's one of the main reasons that we are here. Now, if you're here because of what we talked about in the top of the article, or because you want to know more about what the title is about, yes, we're definitely going to be talking about that as well. For those of you who I'm meeting for the first time, welcome. My name is Jay, CEO of CashFlowDiary. What we do is, well, we've had the privilege now of working for a number of years in helping and assisting individuals in becoming bigger, better, better entrepreneurs. What does that mean to us? That means you have the freedom of choice. You have the ability to choose how you earn your money, and most importantly, can increase that with just by increasing your skill set. So we're not necessarily interested in what you got, but more or less where you want to go. And if you want to turn that into cash flow, that's kind of what we do. So with that being said, we've had the privilege now for a number of years of helping individuals and teaching and training across the globe. And on Tuesdays, what we like to do is kind of go live. Currently, as you can see, this is just free and open to the public. And that's what we've been doing for a long, long time. So we're going to continue that tradition today and helping with real estate business and or short-term rental questions or just cash flow in general, or just, you know, economics. I don't really care. Whatever's going to help you become bigger, better, badder, and be able to put more cash flow in your pocket. That's kind of the thing that I want to talk about. And that's why we're here. So with that being said, our goal today is to serve you in that way. So this is your opportunity to put your questions in the chat. Now, as I said, we do have one or two things that we always talk about. The first among them is the way the recovery is going, specifically as it relates to the travel and hospitality and short-term rental industry. So with that, let's do this. There we go. Well, that's weird. Okay. So what we have right here on the screen, or at least what I believe you're seeing on your screen, is the Skift Recovery Index. It's still at a 43, y'all, which is code for probably not going to change in a while. Still hasn't changed, not going to change. Things have been pretty much flat. This should not be a surprise to any of you. But for those of you who may have not seen this before, Skift is a research company who produces lots of great quality information to help entrepreneurs and business owners to navigate, their own landscape in various forms. So what we're looking at here is what is their recovery index. The recovery index is measured as last year, the prior year being the base year, aka 100. And anything that's under that is a lower number. Anything that's above that would be a higher number. So in this particular case, as you can see, it took a long dip and is still kind of been bouncing around along the bottom. Probably not going to change for some time still to come. It is what it is. All right. Let's get to the next piece as well. Let me see. There we go. Hi. So the next piece, and probably the piece that I'm the most excited about, is this particular article right here. And I want to talk about how articles like this, or the concepts that this article talks about, just even in the title alone, relates to your short-term rental business. Because one of the questions we get a lot are things like, hey, is now the right time? Should I continue to wait? And those types of questions. And if that's a question that you've had, there's nothing wrong with that. Let me share with you where I'm coming from, though. Awesome. So, what is that? So, okay, there we go. So you should be able to see the article now, I believe. And whoops, there we go. Basically, many of us are familiar with this particular gentleman. His name is Elon Musk. He's CEO Tesla. And yes, many of you know that is also a company that their product anyway, I absolutely like. And I like a lot of the decisions that they've been making recently. And many of you probably are also aware that they're now being added to the S&P 500. What's important is this right here, this concept. The Tesla CEO, Elon, says electric cars will double global electricity demand. Now, here's what this is reminding me of, right? One of the things that sometimes that we can do, like maybe we're trying to, save money, or we're trying to, if you're running your business, you're trying to get more man hours. You've got your short-term rental business is going forward, and what you're trying to figure out is, how can I cut an expense in some way, shape, or form, aka you're looking for ways to be more efficient, right? And when we are searching for ways to be more efficient, sometimes what can happen is actually increasing the demand for the very resource we were trying to conserve. Does that make sense? This concept is known. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. Uh-oh. I just had it. There we go. This concept is popularly known in economics as Jevons paradox, Jevons, Jevons with an S, paradox. What does it simply mean? In essence, is that gains in efficiency result in increased consumption. I'll say that again. Gains in efficiency result in increased consumption. So how does this apply to your short-term rental business? Because when I was seeing this article, it was reminding me of this, and I'm just like, yep, that's exactly right. And more importantly, that's exactly what's coming. So we need to make sure that we are beyond ready for everything that could possibly be here in the not too distant future. So I wanted to take a moment to make sure that you guys were ready, that you guys could be, quote unquote, in the know and would know how to respond and to deal with the paradox that happens, known as, like I said, Jevons paradox. So, and if you want, you can go look at the article yourself. It's also obviously available online. Now, in this case, here's the thing that I want to bring to your attention. When a crisis occurs, right? Remember, there's 3 phases to a crisis, and here's the good news: we're fast approaching the just after the crisis part. So for those of you who've been around since April, you know the three phases, we've gone through them. And when a business goes through a crisis, what ends up happening is that we strive as an entrepreneur to become more efficient with the same or less resources. So maybe it's more efficient with less man hours, or more efficient with less revenue, more efficient by spending less on expenses. Again, efficiency, being efficient with a resource, increases the demand for same said resource. Here's how this paradox, if you will, is affecting the short-term rental world. It's already affecting the short-term rental world very directly, simply because accommodations, the accommodations, the hospitality industry has become and is continuing to become more efficient in order to adjust to the reality of today. And that's a good thing. That it's something that we actually want, right? We want to become more efficient. And as we, the economy as a whole, and you individually, as you're running your business, become more efficient with the resource known in this case as temporary housing, we, all of us, will demand more of that same said resource. I'm sure for those of you who've been operating for any length of time, you probably have already seen this. I'm not like surprising you with new information right now. You're like, yeah, I know, I've seen this. I have, higher occupancy, higher revenues, in some cases. Now, again, you're probably still not, maybe you are, but not always knocking down larger numbers than you did this time last year. But at the same time, you also sense something. And that is very true. A lot of the studies have begun to confirm what we were saying back earlier this year. And more importantly, those of you who have taken action, you've begun to reap same said benefits. In fact, just today, I was hearing from one of our members who just started a new short-term rental. I think he said he listed it last night. And within 8 hours, he had, again, another reservation, and he's got another one going live, I believe, tomorrow. So what's exciting is that this type of opportunity does not happen all the time. And the good news about it all is that when an economy breaks, it creates an opportunity for you and I to actually get in. And that's one of the things that is a message I believe we've been rather consistent in saying, and I want to make sure that I continue to state, is that this, for many of us, is the time. This is your opportunity. This is your shot. For those of you who are, a little bit of Hamilton crazed, this is when you have a opportunity to get in. This is the time to take it, to begin to do the thing that you said you've always wanted to do. Maybe that was get involved in real estate. And what I'm also saying is that further evidence is coming to the marketplace, right? You may have never heard of Jevons paradox before, and that's fine. That doesn't mean it's not true. You may not know how electricity works, but guess what? Your lights are on. And your phone is charged or whatever it is that you're using. Not understanding a paradox does not, or a principle does not prevent us from benefiting from same said principle, if that makes sense. And for those who are in position and who have the resource that others may desire, you will benefit and continually do so, because we've mentioned before how, yes, consumer habits have changed, and how, yes, there's a preference to have control over your environment, especially if you decide to travel, or you're working, or maybe you need a place to quarantine, or you're a nurse. All of these things are reasons why someone would use a short-term rental. My point is simple. Because of everything that has gone, that continues to happen, we all have become more efficient with each and every resource, whatever that resource is that you have. And because we've become more efficient with that thing, the demand for that same said thing increases. This is what happened back when in early 1900s, when steam powered trains that increased the demand for things like coal, right? And as we continue to advance, petrol, with the gasoline, and it again by being more efficient. And I know it sounds crazy. Hybrid cars, not necessarily electric, but hybrid cars for sure, and increased gas mileage on vehicles actually results in a greater demand for same said resource, in this case, gasoline. Well, obviously, and the efficiency of the thing allows that previously scarce or seemed to be scarce resource to make its way down further deeper into the population from a socioeconomic standpoint, making it more affordable, which is ultimately what ends up happening, is that efficiency creates affordability. And through that affordability, it expands demand. What am I saying? I'm saying that accommodations and the efficiencies will drive cheaper prices to some degree, but definitely greater value, and allow more people to use and experience your short-term rental. Said another way, get more units, right? It's almost like, that someone should start a timer every time, wondering how long is it going to be before he says get more units. That's a good question. I don't know. It changes all the time. And nonetheless, here's yet another principle that can be applied to help you do the same thing. So feel free to take the time, read the article. Either way it goes, it's just more further confirmation that if you've had an inkling or thought about or was wondering, I wonder if, what's it going to look like? Well, it's going to look like more and more, not necessarily of the same, but a more efficient version of the same. And if you are currently in the short-term rental business and are not driving greater efficiencies, meaning are you able to put on 10, 20, 30, 40 more units and yet have it not take more of your time? If you're not becoming more efficient, then understand that there will be a lot of opportunity cost in your not too distant future if you haven't already started paying that. So hopefully that's been a helpful thought process. What I'm going to do is I'm going to check to see if you guys happen to type in any comments and whatnot. And then after that, we will call it a day, and I'll get back to rebuilding the studio area. As you can see, we're making some changes, and and I'm sure a lot of people are making changes right now in their homes, right? So we might as well join the fun. So let's see if we've got any of the questions from you guys that are here, and if not, otherwise we will find our way. I'll return you to your regularly scheduled program. 1 second. Here we got. Oh, nope, not that. Not that. Oh, I see something. Yep. For example, better roads lead to more traffic. Yes, exactly. Right. You're like, dang it. Why don't they expand the freeway? This is a straight California thing right there. It's like, if they just added another lane, it would be better. No, actually not true. You end up with more cars on the road, and you end up with the same problem. It is the craziest thing on the planet, but yet it's something to consider. So, but from a business standpoint, to me, if you can't hear excitement in my voice about this, then because I am like excited about this, simply because when that means the shift will continue. Right now, don't get me wrong, hotels will get more efficient, right? But understand, in order for them to even open again, they need such economies of scale that we've got a bit of a road here. And that's kind of it's a double-edged sword type of thing, but it means there's a window of opportunity for those of you who are in and ready to take advantage of it, and who are moving, as we like to say, at the speed of instruction. All right, let's see what we got. 90% in December already. Yes, exactly. Right, John, you totally understand. You're getting exactly what I'm saying. It's like, oh my goodness, it can feel like, and it'll be deceiving. I can do no wrong. Okay. It doesn't mean you know what you're doing. All right. Just make sure you understand that. Got it. I see that the article has been typed in a number of times as well. Either way it goes, the main thing I want to bring to your attention is that it's once you begin to, well, let me put it this way. The purpose of education is to train you and I to recognize opportunity. Most of us, and myself included, when you were trained to recognize opportunity in the official capacity, you were trained to recognize opportunity spelled JOB. one of the things that we specialize in is helping you see opportunity in some of the unlikeliest of places that other people completely miss. And one of my favorite places is always the front page of a newspaper. And understand this. Once you've been trained, once you begin to see opportunity, you see it everywhere, which is why I can take and look at, Elon talking about electricity consumption increasing and go, yep, not only electricity consumption, but guess what? We're talking about consumption as it relates to the number of bedrooms that you have in operation. That'll be the difference. It won't be anything. It won't take. It'll be. It's not. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know how it can feel. Like, hey, the moment I get started, that's when short-term rental stops working. Well, no, the moment humans no longer want a roof over their head, that's when short-term rentals stop working. So I can understand you completely. Now, for those of you who want to find out more about the short-term rental world and possibly put yourself in a situation in which you can begin to, well, not just learn about it, but actually take action. What you're going to want to do is to get over to CashFlowDiary.com/learn live. Over time, what ends up happening from time to time is we have we just have training sessions from time to time where we just sit down and talk to you about how to produce cash flow using short-term rentals inside the real estate world. And then we take you through all of our phases. Phase 1 is simply get 1. Phase 2 is get 10 short-term rentals going. And then we get to what a lot of members are learning about right now is the excitement around phase number 3. I personally love phase number 3. And phase number 3 is where you begin to talk about how to take piles of cash and turn them into cash flow and occasionally using that to invest in other asset classes, whether that be digital assets, bonds, stocks, precious metals, all the things that, well, I do on a consistent basis in order to make sure that we continually produce more and more and more. A steady, slow and steady wins the race type of cash flow. And being able to see that firsthand and watch it firsthand has enlightened many and also been very, very helpful during a tumultuous time where you can begin to build a business and build additional income simultaneously and together and watch them both grow. Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, I definitely appreciate the time that you have given us today. Hopefully there was something inside this particular short yet powerful session that you'll be able to use and take with you to help you become bigger, better, and better. And I look forward to talking to you guys soon.
Bye.